Welcome back. Children, we are discussing class 10 English, that is chapter 4 from the diary of Anne Frank and written by Anne Frank. So, let's enter into the text. Where we left, from there we will start it again, okay? So, to enhance the image of this long awaited friend in my imaginations, I don't want to jot down the facts in this diary the way most people would do, but I want the diary to be my friend, and I am going to call this friend Kitty, since no one would understand a word of my stories to Kitty if I were to plunge right in. I would better provide a brief sketch of my life, much as I dislike doing so. So, dear children, announcements here develop or intensify or increase, or that is further improve the quality of value or extent of. So, this is what the meaning of the word announce, and we will see plunge. Plunge means what? Jump or dive quickly. Jump or dive quickly, that is plunge. So, what about the paragraph we will see here? Usually, when someone is writing in a diary, they list down all the facts about them in a formal manner, which the author does not want to do. This is because she wanted to give her need for a friend a safe, and thus decides to name the diary as Kitty, hoping that someone would read her diary one day. She thinks that writing without giving details about the background story would be ineffective. So, despite not wanting to do so, she gives brief details about her life. So, next paragraph we will see here, children. My father, the most adorable father I have ever seen, didn't marry my mother until he was 36 and she was 25. My sister, Margaret, was born in Frankfurt in Germany in the year 1926. I was born on 12 June 1929. I lived in Frankfurt until I was 4. My father emigrated to Holland in the year 1939. My mother, Edith Hollander from, went with him to Holland in September, while Margaret and I were sent to Athens to stay with our grandmother. Margaret went to Holland in December, and I followed in February, when I was plunged down on the table as a birthday present for Margaret. So, dear children, adorable means lovable or cute. Emigrated, that means leave one's own country in order to settle permanently in another. That is what the emigrated. Plonk means to put down. So, if we see this paragraph, what the paragraph tells us, she refers to her father as the most lovable father one could get. Her father married her mother when he was at the age of 36 and she was 26. That means here her father was 36 at the time and her mother was 25. Okay, so they both got married there at this age. There is mentions over here. Okay, and she and her sisters Margaret were both born in Frankfurt. Here Anne Frank and his there is sister Margaret. They both took part in Frankfurt. As soon as Annie turned 4, that means when she reached to her age to 4, her father moved to Holland, followed by her mother in September. That means father moved to Holland, understood, and mother also followed in September, while both sisters stayed with her grandmother in HL. Margaret was also sent to Holland, and you see, Margaret was also sent to Holland. They are understood in December, followed by Annie in February. That means on December, Margaret went to Holland, and Annie also went to Holland. That is in February. So, who was brought as a birthday present for Margaret? Then we'll see here. I started right away at the Montessori nursery school. That means he was sent to a school, and the name of that school is the Montessori nursery school. I stayed there until I was 6. So she stayed there. That means Annie stayed there until she was 6. Remember this year, okay? And at which time I started in the first form. In the same form, my teacher was Mrs. Copares, the headmistress. At the end of the year, we were both in tears as we said a heartbreaking farewell. In the summers of 1941, Grandma fell ill and had to have an operation, so my birthday passed with a little celebration. Farewell means an act of parting or making someone's departure. So when someone is departure, we give a farewell. That is called word of farewell. You see, okay. And you see children. So then what happened is here. In Holland, Annie was sent to Montessori nursery school, and it was her first school. She started from first form, and she had Mrs. Copares, the headmistress. That means Annie's school's headmistress was Mrs. Copares, the headmistress, understood, and her teacher in 6th form, who even cried at the time of the farewell. And in the year 1941, the author's birthday could not be celebrated well because her grandmother fell ill and underwent an operation. So you see, so Anne Frank's or the author's birthday could not celebrate well there because her grandmother was fell ill and she underwent an operation, due to which they could not celebrate the author's birthday well. Grandma died. Next paragraph, see. Grandma died in January 1942. No one knows how often I think of her and still love her. This birthday celebrations in 1942 was intended to make up for the other, and Grandma's candle was laid along with the rest. The four of us are still doing well, and that brings me to the present days of 20th June 1942 and the solemn dedications of my diary. Intended, that means planned, children. Okay, solemn means characterized by deep sincerity. A dedications, that is commitment. That means intended, that is plan, intended, okay, intended, that is plan, solemn, that is characterized by deep sincerity and dedication, that is what the commitment. So she, unfortunately, her grandmothers left them in January 1942. So, and that means her grandmother passed away from this earth, leaving them all in the year 1942. And Annie misses her grandmother more than anyone knows. This year's birthday was to be celebrated with great zeal as to compensates for last years. She then mentions that her family is doing well, which sums up her background and brings us to the present date of June 20. There is 1942 when she is writing her diary. Now we'll see next paragraph. Dearest Kitty, our entire class is walking in its boots. The reason, of course, is the forthcoming meeting in which the teachers decide who will move up to the next form and who will be kept back. Half the class is making bets. Jian and I laugh ourselves silly and the two boys behind us. Xian and Jake, who have staked their entire holiday savings on their bet. From morning to night, it is you are going to pass. No, I am not. Yes, you are. No, I am not. Even GS spreading glances and my angry outburst can calm them down. If you ask me, there are so many dummies that about a quarter of the class should be kept back. But teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on earth. So dear children, that is quacking means here shake or tremble, and stakes means pair will be there here, that means chanced. Pleading means to make an emotional appeal, that is called one of the pleading. And glances, that means what, take a brief or a hurried look, that is glances. Outburst, that means what, a sudden release of strong emotion. Dummies, an object designed to resemble and serve as a substitute for the real or usual one, that is called what, the dummies. And unpredictable, that means what, not able to be predicted, जिसको predict नहीं किया जा सकता है, that is changeable. Okay. So then you see what happens on June, that is 1942. Annie begins writing in her diary, addressing it as her friend Kitty. And then what can you see here? She mentions how her entire class is nervous about their results. It is unpredictable and will be decided by a meeting of teachers in which they will select students to be moved to next class or kept back. Many students was making bets. Some had put in their entire summer savings at stakes. She and her friend G also made fun of the nervous boys. They kept on saying to each other that I am not going to pass. So while others would console them and say, yes, you would. She was polite and as she tried to stop them from making noise, while Annie scolded them, but none of it worked. According to Annie, about a quarter of class should not be allowed to pass because they hardly less response to take part in any of the activities. She refers to them as dummies, but this may not be case. Because teachers' decisions can be predicted. So, dear children, we'll keep it here. We'll see now our next class the rest of the paragraph.
हाय फ्रेंड्स, ऐसे नए वीडियो देखने के लिए हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें।